The Zintharians had perfected immortality 3,000 cycles before humanity discovered fire. Their crystalline cities stretched across 14 star systems, monuments to a civilization that had conquered death itself. The elixir of eternity flowed through their translucent veins, keeping their bodies perpetually pristine, their minds sharp as the day they first tasted ascension. But perfection had a price they hadn't anticipated: stagnation. Dr. Keiko Tanaka didn't know any of this when she woke in the sterile white chamber, her head pounding and her memories fractured. The last thing she remembered was the colony ship Perseverance shuddering violently, alarms screaming as something massive appeared on their sensors. Then darkness. "Subject is conscious," a melodic voice announced. Keiko turned her head to see three figures that shouldn't exist outside of fever dreams. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, their bodies composed of what looked like living glass refracting light into prismatic patterns across the walls. Where faces should be, geometric patterns pulsed with bioluminescent colors. "Where am I?" Her voice came out hoarse. "Where's my crew?" "Your vessel violated Quarantine Zone 773, the central figure said, its patterns shifting to something resembling concern. "Contamination protocols required immediate action. You are the sole survivor." The words hit like a physical blow. Sole survivor. The Perseverance had carried 847 souls seeking a new home among the stars. Families, scientists, dreamers, all gone. "We have studied your kind," another Zintharian continued, its voice clinically detached. "Humans. Brief lives burning with inexplicable intensity. You fascinate us. Fascinate you?" Keiko tried to sit up, but restraints held her down. "You murdered my people. A regrettable necessity, but perhaps mutually beneficial. You see, Dr. Tanaka, we have achieved biological immortality, yet we face extinction nonetheless. We have forgotten how to want, to dream, to strive. For 10,000 years, nothing new has emerged from Zintharian minds. We simply exist." The central figure approached, holding a vial filled with luminescent silver liquid. "This is our masterwork, the elixir that grants eternal life. We theorize that human biology, so chaotic and adaptive, might react differently. You might provide the data we need to understand what we've lost. You want to experiment on me. We want to save both our species. Your people hunt for immortality. We hunt for mortality or something like it. The passion, the urgency that drives your kind. Perhaps the elixir combined with human physiology will teach us what we've forgotten." Keiko laughed bitterly. "And if it kills me? Then you join your crew more quickly. But if it succeeds..." The Zintharian's pattern swirled with something resembling hope. "You might become something unprecedented." She had nothing left to lose. "Do it." The elixir burned through her veins like liquid starfire. Keiko screamed as her DNA rewrote itself, human chromosomes struggling against alien perfection. The Zintharians watched, recording every data point, every mutation, every moment of agony. She should have died. Their models predicted a 94.7% mortality rate. But humans were stubborn that way. When Keiko finally stopped convulsing, something impossible had occurred. The elixir hadn't simply preserved her human biology, it had amplified it. Every human trait the Zintharians found so fascinating had been enhanced to supernatural levels. Her capacity for adaptation, for emotional depth, for creative thinking, for pure stubborn determination, all of it now fueled by immortal energy. The Zintharians ran their tests, and with each one their crystalline form seemed to vibrate with growing excitement. She healed from injuries in seconds, her body adapting to each new challenge. When they exposed her to vacuum, she held her breath for 40 minutes before they stopped the test. When they presented impossible problems, she solved them with intuitive leaps their purely logical minds couldn't comprehend. When they tried to break her spirit with isolation, she emerged singing songs she'd composed in the darkness. "Impossible," the lead researcher whispered, its patterns flickering rapidly. She processes trauma, incorporates it, and becomes stronger. Each challenge feeds her growth rather than diminishing her. "This is what we lost," another said, reverence creeping into its tone. "The ability to suffer and transcend, to fail and learn, to die knowing death gives meaning to life." Keiko stood before them, no longer restrained, her eyes blazing with something that made ancient beings step back in awe. She had lost everything, endured unimaginable pain, been transformed into something alien yet fundamentally, defiantly human. You wanted to see humanity's fire combined with your eternity, she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. Congratulations. You've created something that will never stop burning, never stop growing, never stop pushing forward. You've made me immortal, but you've also made me more human than ever. The Zintharians knelt, a gesture their bodies hadn't made in millennia. Within a year, they built temples in her name. Within 10, every Zintharian city hosted shrines where they meditated on the teachings of the eternal human. Keiko taught them to dream again, to take risks, to create without purpose beyond the joy of creation. She showed them that immortality without passion was just elaborate stagnation. She never forgot her crew. Their names were carved into every temple wall, remembered by an alien civilization that learned from humanity's representative. The 846 who died in the dark became eternal through her, their sacrifice giving meaning to something greater. The Zintharians had sought to study humanity's fire. Instead, they learned to worship it. And at the center of their reborn civilization stood Dr. Keiko Tanaka, forever human, forever burning, forever teaching ancient gods how to live again.